So here is the latest royal family update. So Harry and Meghan were just gone, and many people all over social media were so happy about the royal family's decision. But unfortunately, after a little reboot, the con artists were back. But there were no longer individual biographies with over 4,000 words each on the royal family website. But now the bios are combined, and it's just 500 words altogether. So, of course, people are upset that the con artists are still there, but one big factor is that Meghan's grandiose biography has been gotten rid of. Not a single word about her achievements, her claims of humanitarianism, and oh my god, the dish soap commercial. But there's only a little bit of a mention of her actress career and the fact that she's founder of the TIG. There is nothing else about her. And the website has a full photo of Harry and Meghan showing her hideous feet. There's also a rumor that Meghan hates her feet. Well, she should. The royal family website, I love it. They made sure to state that their titles were a gift from the late queen. And there's a link to that stupid Sussex.com website. Now, some people could be upset about the fact that the royal family seems to be promoting the grifters, but I don't really see it that way. I think the royal family is making it clear that the grifters are on their own. And maybe it's a small victory, but a victory nonetheless. And I'm sure there was a lot of rage coming from American Riviera. Meghan Markle, after all, does have a keen eye and freakish attention to detail, according to friends. And there's another big change, too. Archie doesn't have a page about his birth anymore. Now, he and Elizabeth are only acknowledged in one single sentence. Furthermore, there are many people who seem to be upset that the royal website cited their contact and feel like they shouldn't have been assisted like that. But I think it was more of just don't bother us about those two. We don't know what they're doing, but if you want to find out more, then fine. Click on this link. Leave us out of it. I think this is more of a distancing than anything else. Another interesting thing that I noticed was that they didn't refer to Harry as Prince anywhere. Many people, including myself, were a little disappointed that the royal website linked to their website. But when I read it again, I could see the arrogant style of that website is really in contrast to the bare statement of facts on the royal website, and it's pretty obvious to see. For the palace, I think it's a good way of checking how they are presenting themselves and spotting any illegal marketing if any changes are made. And the thing is, they can't claim to be the victims because they wrote it themselves. I'm sure Meghan Markle does hate her feet. I would too if I had those hideous bunions, and I think that's why she wears dresses and trousers that are so long. Most foot surgery takes a very long time to heal, so if she had it, then she would have to get rid of all those carefully orchestrated candid pap shots, wouldn't she? And that would certainly expose her as being even more self absorbed than we already know she is. Meghan Markle doesn't like her feet, and obviously, she didn't really like her face so much either, considering the amount of plastic surgery she's had. I don't think titles should be gifted so easily. They need to be earned. What have Harry and Meghan done for Sussex? Nothing. Have they ever even been there? I also thought that one of their biggest complaints about how the royal family was so racist was that their kids wouldn't receive titles. I believe there's also something about them never coming back as working royals. I think the royal family has made it obvious that there are no plans in place for that, and there never will be. But in the interest of accuracy, the one sentence really should have said the Duke of Sussex was given his title by Queen Elizabeth II on the day of his marriage. Harry's always going to be the son of the king, so for now, he and Meghan will always be members of the family, but they have nothing at all to do with the firm. Now, I do believe it was a mistake on the part of the palace to link to their website because that makes it seem like the palace and the royal family approve of that website. Maybe they could have referred to it differently. Maybe they could have said a search for the Sussexes on Google will provide you with the most current information. So Meghan Markle also received a lot of criticism for that South by Southwest appearance. Before officially going into hiding, Meghan had to put up with a lot of legal pressure because she was constantly being attacked by the online community. I saw so many different clips of this event, and I don't remember a lot of what Meghan said about cyberbullying because it was all just word salad nonsense in my mind. Honestly, whenever Meghan Markle starts to speak, I just stop listening. It's really hard for me to listen to what she says because it's nothing meaningful. It's just a bunch of buzzwords strung together. Just fluff about nothing at all from a woman who's always faking it. She pretends to be this expert, but she doesn't know anything about anything at all. And it makes me think, well, if I've got to go to the bathroom, maybe I'm going to miss out on an Oscar worthy performance for Best Cringe. I mean, Meghan Markle certainly could win an Oscar for that. I would hate to miss it, but at the same time, I just can't listen to the drivel. So I say to myself, well, if you need to go pee, it's time to do it now. It's not worth holding it and possibly causing myself an infection because I want to listen to Meghan Markle's garbage that comes out of her mouth. I mean, I'm not going to wait for that. So I end up leaving, and then I come back and realize I haven't missed anything at all. Another of Meghan Markle's big problems is she's got nothing original in that vapid brain of hers. It's all just regurgitated nonsense. She doesn't have any concept of originality because she's a narcissist. It's part of her disorder. So she just copies people, but she never copies the meaning of what they're saying. It's all just the superficial fluff. She just talks and she talks, and I understand the words when they're separate, but when they're all put together, it doesn't make a bit of sense. I mean, it truly is word salad. That is her specialty. And that is part of the reason why I waste so much of my time talking about her. I mean, in some ways, I gotta hand it to her. She's amazing. Not in the way that she believes herself to be amazing. She is just so amazingly lacking in self awareness, so amazingly out of touch. And just, it's hard to believe there is someone who is like her out there in this world who just keeps on doing the same thing over and over again, keeps on being criticized for it, keeps on failing. But instead of making a new plan and realizing that maybe she's the problem, she just keeps on plowing ahead. The point that I'm trying to make is that Meghan Markle is such a phony. Now, there have been rumors for a long time that she pulled that old trick out of her bag, the trick of paying for the privilege of appearing at that South by Southwest event. And then she was celebrated like she was so respectable. I mean, come on. And I do have some evidence for this theory. So Katie Couric asked Megan to tell the story about that stupid letter she supposedly wrote, but she didn't write by herself to Procter and Gamble. You know, the one about the dish soap. And she worded the question with an aside into the possibility of audience members never having heard this story before. I mean, who hasn't heard this story? So I guess they were all innocent virgin ears for Megan's big moment to shine. It was all just a setup, though. I mean, you know, there was some kind of backstage arrangement for Katie Couric to ask that question so that Meghan Markle could tell that stupid story again, her shining achievement. And she didn't fail to deliver. I mean, it was her typical word salad, bragging on herself. Meghan was turning her head around, looking at the other panelists and grinning ear to ear like everybody was just so excited to hear her story, so impressed. And she was just so wrapped up in herself that she couldn't see people's reactions. Katie Couric had this knowing look on her face, and Brooke Shields changed into a few different expressions of mild bemusement and also knowing that what she was hearing was a big pile of steaming BS. You could almost read her thoughts as Megan went on and on. And then Brooke came right at her with a funny interjection. At age 11, I played a prostitute. Yeah, top that, Megan. It is true. And Brooke made her acting debut as a child prostitute in the film Pretty Baby in 1978, based on a true story. And then she concluded with saying, I wish I had known you at age 11. Does she, though? I just loved it. I mean, Brooke actually was doing something at age 11. It was a really great interjection, and it brought some levity to that depressing subject of sexism and dish soap. She certainly stole Megan's thunder, and I applaud her for doing so. Because Megan thinks that it's so impressive. Look at me. I was this feminist prodigy at age 11. I changed a dish soap ad. No, you didn't. People were laughing with Brooke, but at the same time, I think a lot of them were laughing at Megan, too. I mean, did you know that at age 11, Meghan Markle was performing brain surgery and she was the first child to be on the moon? I mean, who cares what Meghan has to say about cyberbullying? Does it really matter? She says a lot of BS. The most recent thing that she's done, of course, is American Riviera Orchard. What on earth is that? It sounds like a retirement home. Is it a backyard vineyard in Montecito, maybe? And what is she trying to sell? It seems like this is just a copy of Goop because that's what it is. Megan, it's not going to work. And my friends, that is the main news of today. How do you feel about it? Please leave a comment to let us know. If you have any interesting topics that you want us to cover, please suggest them to us in the comments below.